Hi, my name is Daria and I'm a personal branding coach. I help service providers, entrepreneurs, and business owners build a profitable brand on Instagram, no matter how many followers they have. I myself have slightly over 5,000 followers, and in May of this year, I made over $6,000 relying purely on my Instagram. In June, I took a little bit of a break and I was away or sick for half of the month. If you follow me on Instagram, I did share about this journey and what it was like. But in June, I made slightly over 4,000. I think it was like $4,200 or $4,300 a month. And again, I only have 5,000 followers, right? I don't have a full-time job. I barely none of my videos went like super viral over like 100K views or anything like that. But yet still people buy from me and like people still hire me as a one-on-one coach or in a group coaching capacity or as a enroll in any of my educational programs and digital products. Majority of my clients as well, they typically have around, I would say like either just like they're just starting out with their Instagram and they're gaining like their first like 1,000 followers on Instagram, or they're the solid like 3,000 to 8,000 followers, but majority of them are still under 10K, but they're selling their services, they're selling the products, and my cat just walked in. We're gonna take a pause. The primary reason why I am able and majority of my clients are able to sell their services or products or any digital offers that they're selling is because we have a personal brand. Of course, I'm a personal branding coach, so I will be a huge advocate for a personal brand. But having a personal brand is such a big thing that you need to do if you want to start selling stuff on Instagram. And it doesn't necessarily need to be services. It can be digital products. It can be, I don't know, like one-on-one things. So like whatever it is that you want to do, you can easily do it if you have a personal brand. And a personal brand is basically what people think about you when they think about your name, right? And like, just because I have been in the personal branding space for the past 2 years, and this is primarily all I talk about, people associate my name with a personal brand. And when they think about, oh, I want to take my Instagram seriously so I can get more clients, they think about me because I told them that, hey, this is what I do. This is the problems that I know how to solve. And look at all of my clients and all the works that I have done. So I clearly have experience doing that. And personal brand is the primary reason why we are able to trust someone with something that we're doing. And this trust is built on two primarily levels. The first level is for people to be able to trust us as just a human being. They trust your personality, they trust your values, they trust the goals and the journeys that you're going through. They just trust you as a person. And the second thing is them being able to trust your expertise, your knowledge, your experience, that you have enough knowledge, you have enough skills, you have enough to help them solve the problems that they are experiencing. And all of this trust is built within your Instagram. It's built through your stories. It's built through your reels. It's built through your posts. It's kind of like a small, like you're putting like a brick by brick wall. And once this wall is all built out, this is like a large foundation of our homes that we are building. And our sales, we are building on this home as a foundation, but the foundation is solid because the trust that we have with our community is solid. So let's talk about how you can build trust with your community. So first things first, trust to you as a person. They should know what you look like. They should know what your name is. And like, I always get surprised that people are shocked to know this information, but people need to know who is the person behind the camera. They won't be able to connect or be emotionally invested in your story or align with your values, with your goals, if they have no idea what you look like. Think about how you trust any of your friends. Like, it's not like you have some friend, you have never met them in your entire life. You don't know their name. You don't know what they look like. You just like, hey, here's all the childhood traumas that I experienced. Like, right? It doesn't happen this way. You know what the person is like. You know what they look like. You know their name. Their name and their voice, their personality becomes familiar to you because you know who they are. So if you are in a kind of like a faceless account space, I do understand why you have it, and I understand why you might have like some personal reasons behind it. Maybe it's like not wanting to be seen and be visible. I completely understand it. As a person who has accent in English and whose English is not my first language, yet her entire business is built around being able to talk to people all the time, I completely understand you guys. But once you get comfortable in having the conversations with your audience from the perspective of like, hey, this is what happened to me, this is my story, this is what I'm going through right now, unless this becomes part of who you are, it gets very, very hard to build this trust. And I typically have like a more of a personal conversations with my audience via my stories. I post stories 3 to 4 times a week. And it's always like, there is always a key message behind it. I don't just like post a story of like, here is a beautiful sky. And then here I'm sitting on a balcony. I do post that, but there is a message behind it. Like, for example, the other day I posted a story how I didn't expect summer to be a downtime for my business. And so instead of being very sad about it, as my initial reaction was, I'm using it as a downtime to explore my own hobbies, to go to dance classes, to enjoy some time with my loved ones, with my families, to just like enjoy and have fun, and how it sometimes can be hard for me. That's the point of connection. I open up about something and I have conversation with my audience so they can relate to that, or they can understand what I'm going through, or they can be like, yeah, I'm having like the same thoughts. My business also has ups and downs. And then I'm able to have conversation with people who reply to my stories and then in DMs. And this is literally how communities are built. You are talking to your audience, you are opening up first, and you are the first person of this conversation. It's not like your audience are gonna message you on DMs out of blue and be like, hi, let's talk about some random shit, right? Because they're not gonna do that, because they have no trust at you. They have no idea sometimes what you look like. They just don't have this feeling of a friendship, basically, right? So this is the first thing that you want to do. And obviously, like, boundaries are important. I don't want you to talk about your like childhood traumas unless you're like childhood trauma coach or stuff like that, if it doesn't make sense to you. But being able to hold conversations about what's happening in your life right now, what are your goals, what are you doing, what's important to you, right? Like, for example, I do talk quite a lot about like self-development and how I explore different hobbies, especially if I suck at something like dancing or painting classes. And that's not part really of a like personal branding coaching, but you do want to step into this kind of like a main character mindset where your entire personal brand is about you. It's not about your work. It's not about your clients. It's not about your children. If you're kind of like in this motherhood lifestyle space, it's all about you. And if you're going through something, and if this is something that you are exploring right now, then it's important. Then share it. Then awesome. So this is the first part of people being able to trust you as a person. And I use it to develop it through stories and through the conversations that I have with my audience via DMs, or doing this like long formats via IG Live, via YouTube as well. And I also incorporate like carousel posts if I want to talk about something. Like, for example, recently I posted a carousel post about my own Instagram mindset. And a few weeks ago, I shared like social media is fake. Here's what I've been struggling with kind of post as well. That also allows people to connect with you as you, just a person. And then the second part is for people to be able to trust you as an expert. And that obviously shows up in how you talk about your experience, how you talk about expertise, how you're showcasing any of the client works that you've done. If you're selling a digital product and like if somebody really love what you're doing, being able to incorporate that, share about their wins, share about what the results that it brought to your clients. And for people who follow you, literally be able to understand from the get-go what your niche is and what are the services that you're offering and what kind of problems that you know how to solve. And in order for them to know about this stuff, you do need to talk about this stuff all the time. You need to be the one, like, for example, if you're a makeup artist in Vancouver, being able to showcase on your reels, on your stories, on your content that you're a makeup artist in Vancouver, how you do makeup for different brides, for example, or if you're a wedding planner, in Vancouver, share like typical pain points that your customers are experiencing and how you're able to solve them. Talk about any hiccups that happen at one of the weddings that you coordinated during the weekend, like stuff like that, using a storytelling moments to talk about your clients, to talk about the problems that you have experienced before that you now help your clients or students to solve, or is that you're helping your clients to solve at the moment, and being able to talk about it via your content on your reels, your Instagram stories, on your carousel, on your YouTube if you're comfortable, IG Live, whatever. But the moment when people are landing at your page, ask yourself, is this clear what you do? Like if I will go to your profile right now, would I immediately have a very clear understanding that this is what you do? This is the problems that you know how to solve, or this is the niche that you're in like a photographer or like a wedding coordinator, makeup artist, marketer, like whatever it is you do, is this clear enough? If it's clear your occupation and what you do I get an immediate understanding of what exactly is that you do? Like, for example, if you're a photographer, do you do an engagement photo shoot? Do you do wedding? Do you do motherhood kind of like realm? Or like what it is exactly do you do? Is this clear enough to me as well? That is one of the biggest things. And that is what I've seen missing for so many expert service providers profile, where they are focusing so heavily on going viral for the content that they're putting out the most random stupid stuff on social media that has nothing to do with their niche, with their clients, with what they're trying to do. Like, for example, they would be like, let's say they would be a photographer and then they're posting a reel of, I don't know, like their dog, for example. And like if this a photographer and this dog is incorporated in what they do, like for example, they show like how the dog is running and then what kind of videos they saw, that's perfectly fine. But if it's just like absolutely random video of how they're playing with a dog and it has nothing to do with their photography, then well, yeah, it's gonna go towards you not being able to build this trust, and you just be your feed and your profile kind of feeling like all over the place, and this is not what we want to do. And I'm not saying that you can only post about your niche, you can only post about like, here is 3 things that you need to do as a makeup artist living in Vancouver, for example. But you do need to be able to hold conversations with your audience, and when somebody would check out your profile and they would scroll through your reels, and they will immediately understand what your content is about, your social media marketing coach, you help people grow their Instagram, like whatever it is, they can immediately understand who you are, what problems you're solving, and why they need to come to you, and what kind of problems that they have that you know how to solve. If that's clear, you're good. And being able to talk about and highlight your clients, the problems that you have solved with them, highlighting your own client wins and your like testimonials, any stuff like that via your highlights, talking about the clients and the problems that you have solved for them via stories, incorporating all of the Instagram channels to ensure that the conversations that you have with your audience communicate that this is what you do and this is the problems that you know how to solve, and you should be good. This is literally like the secret of how to sell anything on Instagram. If people know who you are and what you're doing, what problems you're solving, you are good. That's it. Like literally, this is how you can sell absolutely anything on Instagram. Let people know what you're doing. Create visibility around your brand. Build a personal brand when people have a very clear idea of who you are and what you're doing. And whatever it is that you want to do, you're good to go. I've included the link for my profitable Instagram checklist below that helps you understand the step-by-step strategies that you need to do to make your Instagram bring you money for your clients and for the sales that you want to do, and the frameworks that you need to implement on your Instagram right now to help you convert your views into followers, into leads, and then into sales, so you can build a profitable Instagram no matter how many followers you have. And if you found this video helpful, I would really appreciate if you can like and subscribe. Enjoy the rest of your day.